Good day everyone and good day ma'am. Today we're going to report about our part, Group 6, Between the Wars, and the first one is the Great Depression. So the first topic that we're going to discuss today is about the Great Depression. The Great Depression happens in between the wars. So our focus of our topic is between the wars. Now, one of the happenings between the wars is the Great Depression. So what is the Great Depression? The Great Depression was a severe worldwide economic depression that took place after 1929. So the timing varied across the most countries. It started in 1929 and lasted until the late 1930s. So it was the longest, deepest, and the most widespread depression of the 20th century. No, because the stock market crashed on October. The Great Depression lasted until the beginning of World War II. So the Great Depression had devastating effects in different countries where both poor and rich are affected. So by the time that Great Depression happened, unemployment in the United States rose into 25%, personal income taxed, revenue, and prices dropped. So the internal trade plunged more than 50%, and then cities all around the world were hit hard. So let us now move on to the next, which is the rise of fascism. So what is fascism? So it is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement. It was characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interest for the perceived good of the nation or race. So while communism is tightly maintained in the isolated Soviet Union, fascism took control of the Kingdom Italy. So by this time, when the Great Depression worsened, Nazism emerged victorious in Germany, and fascism took control in the Kingdom of Italy. For the fascists, or the people who are under the fascism, they are called fascists. So fascists believe in power, violence, male superiority, and a natural hierarchy. It is often led by dictators like Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. So Adolf Hitler was a German politician who was the dictator of Germany from 1933 until his suicide in 1945. So he rose to power as the leader of the Nazi Party. So Nazi Party is a party in the time of the fascism. So it is one of the party and the fascist, requiring from its members supreme devotion to the German government. So the party's full name in English is National Socialist German Workers' Party. So Nazi is the short for its German name. And now let us move on to the Spanish Civil War. So the Spanish Civil War began on July 17, 1936. It is when Generals Emilio Mola and Francisco Franco launched an uprising aimed at overthrowing the democratically elected republic. The nationalist rebels' initial efforts to instigate military revolts throughout Spain only partially succeed. The Spanish Civil War has two sides, so the Republicans supported the Soviet Union, and both of them supported the democratically elected government of Spain, while the nationalists supported the Nazi Germany. So the Nazi is led by Adolf Hitler. So now let us move on to the British Empire, or the main topic is all about the interwar Britain. So what is interwar known for? Interwar period is known for the title given to the period of time between the end of World War I and the start or the beginning of World War II in 1939. So many important things happened during this time, and many events occurred, including economic crisis, political transformations, and major social changes. British Empire. Empire is a political unit made of several territories and peoples. Now, British Empire is considered as one of the greatest empire of all time, wherein it is composed of dominions, colonies, protectorates, mandates, and other territories ruled or administered by United Kingdom and its state. So it began with overseas position and trading posts established by the England in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. So the question is, what happened during the interwar period in Britain? So in the interwar period of Britain, Britain maintained close relationship with France and the United States. Also, they rejected isolationism and sought world peace through naval arms, limitation treaties, and peace with Germany through the Locarno Treaties. So the main goal of the interwar period in Britain is to restore Germany to a peaceful and prosperous state. So why did the British Empire fall? The First and the Second World Wars, or both of the wars, was left Britain weakened and less interested in its empire. Although Great Britain emerged as one of the victors of World War II, the British Empire has been economically devastated by the conflict, leaving it gradually give way to the Commonwealth. And that's all for my report. I am Java Stusha.
Hello everyone, I am Feby Marpet Velasco from BS Ed Social Studies 3 and welcome to the Interwar Regional Patterns. In this presentation, we will explore the complex dynamics that shaped regions around the world during the chaotic interwar period between World War I and World War II. During the interwar period, which spanned from 1918 to 1939, the world experienced profound changes and challenges. Today, we will delve into the regional patterns that emerged during this era, highlighting their impact and significance.
What are regional patterns? In the context of the interwar period, regional patterns means looking at how different parts of the world experienced and dealt with the challenges and changes during that time.
In the Balkans, the Great Depression struck the Kingdom of Romania with full force. The early 1930s were marked by social unrest, staggering unemployment rates, and the harsh repression strikes, notably the 1929 miners' strike and the Grevita Railroad Workshop strike. Additionally, we'll explore how the balance of economic and political influence shifted from the French dominance in the early 1920s to the German ascendancy, especially in the 1930s. Romania's struggles and recovery. Despite the challenges, Romania's economy managed to recover in the mid-1930s. However, it's crucial to note that despite this recovery, approximately 80% of the Romanians were still employed in the agriculture. Albania reform attempts. Meanwhile, in the neighboring Albanian kingdom, King Zog I embarked on an ambitious journey of reform. These included significant changes to civil codes, constitutional reforms, and the land redistribution attempts. Unfortunately, these efforts encountered roadblocks due to an inadequate banking system. Albania's growing reliance to Italy also played a notable role, with Italians exerting control over various aspects of Albanian governance. Japanese dominance in East Asia. Shifting our focus to East Asia, Japan underwent a remarkable industrial transformation. They closely modeled their industrial economy after the advanced Western
Welcome to our educational video on Italy's foreign policy under the interwar period. In this presentation, we'll explore the key events and ambitions of Fascist Italy under Benito Mussolini. Let's dive in.
In 1922, Benito Mussolini seized power in Italy through the March on Rome. This marked the beginning of his leadership as a prime minister. The Treaty of Lausanne formalized Italian control over Libya and the Dodecanese Islands. Italy paid Turkey for this territorial acquisition. Corfu Incident. Mussolini's decision to invade the Greek island of Corfu led to tensions. Greece brought the issue to the League of Nations, resulting in British intervention and Italian troop withdrawal in exchange for reparation.
Mussolini aimed to make Italy a dominant Mediterranean power with access to the Atlantic and Indian Oceans for national sovereignty.
The March to the Ocean in 1939. This document stressed the importance of maritime for national independence and a
and identified barriers to Italy's expansion in the Mediterranean. Balkan ambitions. Italy aimed to annex some regions and establish client states in the Balkans, drawing inspiration from the Roman Empire's historical dominance. League of Nations demands in 1932 to 1935. Italy sought support against Germany in exchange for territorial concessions but faced rejection from France. Involvement in the Spanish Civil War. Italy backed General Franco's nationalist faction, aiming to establish a client state in Spain and gain control of strategic Balearic Islands. Diplomatic demands and Albania. Italy pressed for influence in French-run Suez Canal, opposed French monopoly, and aimed for territorial expansion in Albania. Annexation of Albania in 1939. Mussolini sought a spectacular success by adding Albania to Italy's territories, making it a separate kingdom. Spanish Civil War and international involvement. The conflict saw Italy and Nazi Germany supporting the nationalists, while the Soviet Union aided the Republicans. Most nations remained neutral to avoid a wider European war. Conclusion. Italy's foreign policy in the interwar period was marked by territorial ambitions, imperial expansion, and involvement in key conflicts such as the Spanish Civil War. Mussolini aimed to establish Italy as a dominant Mediterranean power. Thank you for joining us in exploring this fascinating historical period.